Yellowjackets episode 3, Digestif.
Digestif.
Okay, I'm gonna start things off a little differently. I'm gonna come at you with theory.
Oh,
Yeah, so I was thinking about it.
okay.
So there's a conversation that happens between Natalie and Lottie in present day. And she talks about killing the queen bee.
Yeah.
And how, when the queen bee comes to be, that she'll go and she'll sting all the other queen bees to death.
Yeah.
Right? Like in their eggs or something.
Uh-huh.
Whatever. So, now there's this necklace, right? That keeps kind of getting passed around. And we see it on Pit Girl, so to speak.
Yeah.
And that originally started with Jackie, right? And it gets passed down to Shauna, right? And I think this is like, because Jackie is the queen bee, right? She's the captain in the beginning. She's kind of like who people follow. But then she kind of acts like a queen as well, where she just kind of sits around and lets all the peasants work for her, right?
Mm.
So, she passes the necklace on, which is like kind of what would be the, Shauna's the queen bee, so to speak, at that point. But my point I'm trying to get to is that I feel like Lottie wants to be queen bee, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, she's the one talking about this. She wants to be in charge. I think we are going to see that Lottie went out and smothered Jackie in her sleep.
Oh.
I do not think Jackie froze to death. I think she was murdered.
By Lottie.
I think she snuck out, snuffed her out.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh my God, she froze to death.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe.
Because she's getting rid of the competition. And, now Shauna is maybe in the way, so to speak. I don't know why I keep saying so to speak. But she marks her with this blanket. Because I think that, like, this symbol, she has this intuition or whatever is, like, possessing her, giving her these kind of psychic powers or whatever.
Yeah.
Is attached to this. Now we're going to get into all these other little things, like how when the blood touches the symbol, then food starts falling from the sky.
Yes.
Right? So, but let's jump into it. I was thinking about it after. I was thinking about the queen bee thing, and we get the very last scene with the hive and the blood in there, and he wants blood and all that. In French. And I was just like thinking about it, and I was thinking about the queen and all that stuff, and it's just, I don't know, it dawned on me that, like, just because we see Jackie dead in the morning does not mean that's how she died, right? And that is, I feel like that's going to become a reveal, because that could even set up her killing her, not only to take over her position, but to turn them all to cannibalism. Right. So anyway, just a thought. Just a thought.
Very interesting.
Right out the gate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So we got the coach's flashbacks here, and it starts with what I can only assume is reality, and then it morphs into later once he's a little bit more delusional, that he has this kind of what if scenario, well-wishing, how things should have been, what he should have done, how it would have been, that kind of stuff. So other than that, I feel like the coach scenes are really just here to flesh him out as a character a little bit more, so there's more significance when he ultimately dies soon. I feel like this is like a send-off episode to him I actually expected him to die maybe in this episode.
I did too.
Because of this, like, all of a sudden focus on, like, background and character development, which we haven't really gotten a ton of on him. We've gotten some, but nothing like this.
Yeah, this was a lot.
This just felt like we're building you up to bring you down.
Sure, not to mention he was just acting very weird and, like, definitely was super affected by, you know, the girl's cannibalism.
And he does not partake in it, right?
Yeah,
so he's not partake. Like part of the group anymore.
No.
Right? They've taken on a new identity.
Yeah, so he could be starving, really.
Well, sure.
Like, that's it, right?
Yeah.
As Natalie says, you know, when she takes
says,
Jackie, she's like...
Somebody's asked
him no, that's not Natalie, but yeah, somebody's like, are you hungry? Yeah, and then he, like, hallucinates
almost like
her.
condescendingly.
Kind of, yeah, I felt that
or
too.
Judgmental
but I was going to say that when Natalie takes Jackie to the airplane, and she's like, we might have, like, survived the winter because of you, so thanks, or whatever.
Sure.
And that's true. Like, maybe, you know, the coach, like, he could totally be dying of starvation at this moment.
Yeah.
And I definitely am still, like, very... he's going to be eaten. Like, he's going to be eaten next.
He's the next
That's
person
my
to be
for sure prediction. Yeah.
Yeah. You think they'll try to, like, recreate how Jackie was cooked?
I don't know. I kind of think that they'll do it a different way. I think that they'll be a little more like, let's cut him up. Yeah.
Yeah, cook him piece by piece.
Yeah.
Save him through the winter. Put him out in the shed where Jackie was and keep his body frozen like meat.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happened in Alive, right? Like, they were just, like, kept him out in the snow and then cut off what they needed.
Yeah.
Right.
Horrible situation to be in.
But yeah, I feel like the boyfriend stuff is literally only there to show us his mental state.
Yeah.
For his eventual collapse and death. I don't see any other reason for any of this stuff.
Right.
I didn't see any other, like, symbolisms or, like, you know, story elements of his past.
Yeah.
Other than, like, you're dead. You're dying. You're dying soon.
You did.
You're dying soon. And he's, you know, and I think that might be what creates the division, right? Because there's already tensions that are high. There's people that are picking sides. And as I had guessed, it wasn't much of a guess, to be honest, but still a guess, is that, you know, there was going to be this division between Taisa and Van because of Lottie, and that she was going to side more and more with her, and that's exactly what's happening. So you're starting to see, like, I mean, we even had kind of an announcement of it in this episode of, like, who's on Lottie's side and who isn't, right? Like, Misty stands up and is like, you know, I trust Lottie, and then Shauna's like, I do too, right? So it's kind of like a proclamation, and we're seeing the line in the sand.
Sure.
And I think that, you know, the coach's death, or even the coach's, you know, somebody going after him, right? Could be that final straw to where the division finally, you know, comes to a head.
Becomes much more clear. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, so we get the body. It's been picked clean. I mean, these guys feasted. Yes. They didn't just, like, take some of it.
No.
They went to town.
They did go to town.
Yeah.
Yes. It's picked clean.
Yes.
Ugh.
They're little vultures. And everybody has kind of a different reaction and way of coping with it. Some people are, like, disgusted with themselves. Some people are, like, very blah about it. One girl's, like, making jokes. Like, you know, I guess no one wants breakfast, huh? Like,
oh my God, yeah.
You know, everybody's dealing it within their own ways.
Sure. But
Taisa is not dealing with it in her own way because she supposedly doesn't remember it.
Yeah.
Which... Do you think she's sleepwalking in this moment when she eats? But
I think it's totally possible.
Van does give some evidence, right? She says, you were looking right at me and we were talking to each other.
Yeah, but that's not evidence, because literally in this episode, when she's sleepwalking, she looks at her, she's talking to her, she's like,
Yep.
you know, aware. So yeah, I don't think
Right.
that's proof at all. And I think that it's totally possible that she was sleepwalking.
I'm just saying that's the evidence she gives, and
Yeah.
as you said exactly what I was going to say, but that is contradictory to what we then see later in the episode.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think she could totally be sleepwalking. And that's awful. To like, I mean, it's bad enough, right? Like the fact that they all are so starved that, you know, the smell of like a cooking body, like they can't, you know, your survival instinct is too strong in those moments where they can't help it, right? They're hungry and they're gonna die if they don't eat, so they go for it. And it's really shitty because that obviously takes a huge like mental toll to know that that's what you had to do to survive. But then when Van is like, you ate her face, I was like, what? There's no, I mean, you were like, she said that so that, you know, because she was kind of like, I would never, like Taisa was like, I would never eat anybody, and was sort of judgmental about it.
Well,
but I still stand that I think it's like a really shitty thing to say to somebody who's clearly not coping with what they did.
Right, but as I had said, I think it was kind of like Van is starting to get over Taisa's shit.
Sure.
And so kind of the like holier than thou, like what did you guys do? And Taisa or Van, sorry, is being defensive too. Like how could you? And it's like, bitch, you ate her face. Like you were maybe the worst of us, right? Like you went for the most unsavory part. Like that's her face. Like that's how you know
like
someone's
the part
identity.
You wouldn't eat. Yeah.
Right? Like bodies all look pretty similar, but it's your face that really sticks out. Right?
Yeah.
That's like, you know, there's a reason that like when you go to a fucking restaurant, if they bring out like a, you know, whatever kind of meat, they cut the head off of it primarily because it's like that's the thing that reminds you it's alive more than anything, or that it was once alive.
Is the head.
Head, right? It's the face. It's hard to look into something's eyes.
Yeah. I also think that this is like, Van is obviously embracing like whatever is going on, like as far as the symbol and the mysticism with Lottie and everything.
Yeah.
Like she's embracing that a lot more too, and like the more animalistic side. So I do think she's like, you know, not as like, she doesn't obviously care as much about like the propriety or whatever.
Yeah. How did you like the choice words that the doctor came up with for Taisa's wife? You're not out of the woods yet.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I thought
Those are great.
That was great.
I was like, oh, is she sleeping right now? What? Is she still in the woods?
Yeah,
all of them are?
Just an ironic saying.
Yeah.
To somebody who couldn't get out of the woods. And I liked that. I liked that there was like, you're not out of the woods yet. Like, because Taisa brought this back with her.
Right.
Right? She still has this ailment from when she was in the woods. It's like she is not out of the woods yet. Until she can beat this phantom, demon, whatever the hell's attached to her. Right? Mm-hmm. Because we find out in this episode, as we had kind of speculated, that Taisa is not really in control of her body when that's happening, right? Like something, she's being used as a vessel, right? She's like, this is just a conduit, right? There's something that is in control of her mobility and even her thought. Like it's speaking for her and through her. And we'll talk about like who that might be or whatever, but the line, you're not out of the woods yet, I think, even though it's kind of like a winky, ironic, like haha moment, I do think that it is symbolic to what is actually happening, that she has not gotten out of the woods yet.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I wonder, like, wouldn't it be crazy, kind of like Lost, right? If we find out in the end that this is like their delusion, that they're not out of the woods yet, that they're all still living there, but they're all like, they're like, maybe their bodies are like on autopilot and they're like living in their head thinking that they got out of there, right? Like kind of like 1408. He thinks he gets out, and then twist is he didn't get out.
Sure,
and
that would be.
And you get this like reality and like because Shauna has a kid, right?
Yeah.
And Shauna has a kid in this, right? Like she could be seeing her own child all these years later. I doubt that's it. I
know
99%
there's
chance
a lot
that's
of,
probably not it. But I'm just speculating for fun out loud. Like I don't think people would like that ending.
I don't think so either, and it would be hard to like for me. Like I don't know how they would be able to collectively like know what type of technology we would have.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, it's interesting though. And it totally, like the phrase does make you like question, like, at some level you're like, yeah, are we out of the woods? Or like, what does that mean? So I like that.
I'm singing that Taylor Swift song in my head right now. My kids make me listen to Taylor Swift. Well, not make me. I like Taylor Swift. I'm not going to lie. But like, I never put on Taylor Swift myself in my life. My kids listen to it all the time around me. Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods? I was playing that in my head as you were talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I it's a bullshit speculation, but it's fun to think about. And then you could make Adam Hobby, right? Like we had speculated for a while.
That's true.
Right? We got a lot of little things there. No, it's stupid.
It's not that.
No, it's not that.
But it would be cool if it. In a way, it would be cool if it was. So,
and one of the things that actually made me think that, the reason that even came into my mind is why does Taisa, I almost called her Taiwiswa. Why does Taisa's wife have the symbol on her hand?
Yeah.
That like when I
was sleeping and she drew it on.
So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking either Taisa marked her.
Yes.
Right while she was sleeping. Why? I don't know. For protection? Right? Because that's what they say in this episode, that it's a protective spell.
Yeah.
Right? Is it? Or is it not? Like, what is that symbol? Yeah. Now, we see in this that blood drops onto the symbol, and as soon as it does, birds start hitting the house, like instantly. It's like a message from above.
Yeah. When
you bleed on this symbol. But what made her nose bleed in that moment for it to happen? Was that happenstance?
Right.
Right? Or was that, supernatural made her nose bleed onto the symbol? Because I can only assume her bleeding on the symbol, it has to be connected. That she bleeds directly onto this symbol. They don't focus on it, but she bleeds onto it and then boom, like a message from above.
Yeah.
Right? So, what is this symbol? Why does she draw it on her hand if she draws it on her hand? Second theory here is that she's part of the cult. And she had it drawn on her hand when she went to go confront her. Right? But that seems like kind of a dead giveaway. That's not something, like if I had something on my hand, like you would notice.
Yeah.
Right? Like I would notice you had some
Taisa
symbol on this
is clearly not like
she is, but you wouldn't chance
aware.
It.
But yes,
right?
I agree.
I don't write it on your hand. Why would you put it on your hand?
She's a part of the cult. I think that Taisa...
You'd put it somewhere more hidden. Like,
yes.
Like on her tit or something under her bra, right?
I think that
Taisa... Or on her ass or just something that's very well hidden. No, not on her vagina. Like, on her freaking upper thigh. Jesus, is that good enough for you? I didn't mean it in like a sexual way.
You just picked all the sexual spots.
No, because they're the most hidden.
I know. I'm just teasing.
I talk about tits on this channel all the time. Why wouldn't I fess up to it?
I'm teasing. Why are you're so defensive about it? I forgot what I was going to say.
I'm guilty.
Thanks.
No, because she put it on her body?
Oh, I think Taisa drew it on her, obviously.
While
Taisa was asleep.
So, Taisa's asleep. She wakes up. The doctor is checking her over. And then she goes over and sees that she has this thing drawn in her hand. So, before the doctor came in, she sleepwalked? Sleepwalked? Is
that's
that right?
Like a nurse that's in there.
Whatever she is, a medical professional. She walks over before that. The medical professional walks in. Is that good?
Yeah.
And then she wakes up. So she did it because she was asleep.
Yes.
So it would make sense, but why? As I said, protection, right? I mean, they literally say in this. Now that can be, of course, a misdirect, and Lottie's just telling him that. Do you think the symbol is good or bad, or neither?
I think it's bad.
I do too. I mean, but that doesn't mean.
But I don't know. It could
either.
be neither. I don't know.
What does it look like to you? Like when you really look at it, it looks like a fucking baby on a hanger.
I was gonna say like orbits or something because it's like the triangle and then there's the circle like of planets.
Oh, no! I see. I see a person like who has a hanger, like like in your closet, a hanger.
Oh.
So like it's like a hanger, but with like a head on it, and then two lions on one side.
Definitely don't see that.
Oh, really? That's always what I've seen. I've always seen it as a hanger first and foremost. Because of the bottom piece that hooks like a hanger, and then it's a triangle like a hanger, and then there's a head on top of the hanger.
I've never seen that.
But it's like if you took a hanger and you took this part of the hanger off and you put it down here instead, and then you put a head on top of it.
Like what?
It's the two symbols that make up a hanger. It's the triangle.
I know what you're saying.
Right? But usually it's up here. It's down here instead. And then you got a head on top and then two little lines and a line, like arms. I've always seen it as like a person with like a hanger dick. But what would that be? You saw it as planets. Orbits.
Yeah.
What? Whoa, I gotta look at this now.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we're both like...
Because of the circle is moving along the path of the triangle?
I don't know. That's just like what... I mean, that's just what comes into my head when I see it. But... I
mean, I don't have any reason for the like, hanger dick. That's just what I see when I look at it. And that, to me, that's become like a freaking Rorschach test where I'm just like sexually... fucked, right? Where I see everything's... No, I don't see it as a penis. I'm just saying...
So defensive.
It's like... I'm not being defensive. I'm pointing out that the symbol, because I don't have a pen, but I could draw what's in my head right now of what the symbol looks like. But am I not correct that it's a triangle? Circle on top, little, like what would be at the top of a hanger on the bottom, like two lines on one side and one line on the other. That's it, right? That's the whole symbol? Am I misremembering it now?
I don't know. I can't remember the whole thing.
I think that's right. But I've always seen it as a person with like a little triangle or a little hanger thing on the bottom. Right? Like a stick figure without legs.
It's like you're trying to convince me.
I know, but I'm
just like...
But is it not? Is it not like a stick figure with like...
I don't know.
You know how you draw like a dress on a woman, on a stick figure woman? Right? And they have little arms, but there's 3 arms that I don't know. We've never discussed what the symbol looks like, and it's funny to me.
Well, we were supposed to talk about what it means.
I don't fucking know what it means.
I don't either.
I don't fucking know what it means. We're more like just talking about what it does.
Yeah.
What it looks like to me. I told you what it looks like. At least I have an explanation. I went into full detail, and all you just said was orbits, and I thought you were talking about like friggin'
No, like the planetary, or I don't know why that's what I thought. Maybe it is just like the line, like the circle and the line.
The planets don't orbit in.
No, I know that, but.
Okay. That's just what you saw.
That's just what I saw. I don't know.
That's okay. That's okay. What do you guys see? What do you see? What's your Rorschach test telling you? Probably didn't even hit record. So we have to do this again, and I'll be pissed because I'm having too much fun. All right. So now I got to check. Because now I'm like, okay, we're recording. We can't see when we're recording or not. Yeah. It's sometimes it'll like run out of memory and stop the recording. But we've never had it stop too early. It's always like the last couple minutes get cut off.
Yeah.
Which I'm always so thankful for. Yes. Especially when we do something that's like an hour.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Anyway, are we out of the woods? Yeah, are we out of the woods? Okay. So moving on from the palm symbol, which, yeah, I'm going to go with, like what you said. Taisa drew it on her, and I'm going to say, maybe if it isn't for protection, Taisa still believes it is. Mm-hmm. How about that?
Sure.
How about that? How about it?
That works. How
right?
about it?
And what if somebody bleeds on her hand, on her palm? Is something going to happen in the hospital, right? Blood in the hospital? It wouldn't be that hard to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I don't know why it would be drawn on there. And I guess we should talk about, I mean, it's not the next thing on here, but speaking of Taisa, like, so we get this conversation between Van and her when she's sleepwalking, and she basically asks her if she can come with her, and she says yes, and then she asks her essentially like, you're looking for the no-eyed man, and who's in control of your body, and it ain't Taisa, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, who are you? She doesn't answer it, and then she walks straight to the symbol, right? So but this is not Taisa, and Taisa. Now, if Taisa is sleeping when she eats Jackie, she still has memory of it, right? And when we saw Van get attacked last season, and Taisa like was responsible for it, for walking off and leaving them unguarded while they're sleeping, and she's supposed to be the watch, and then she's up in a tree. She comes back down, but it was shot like she had memory of it, but maybe not. Maybe she kind of comes out of it and is like, what's happening? But I have to watch it, but I feel like she does have memory of what she does because when she finds the heart in that crawl space thing in her house in the basement, she kind of accepts it. Like, we did this, right? Like, and whether she has memory of that or not, or if she's just like, yeah, I'm crazy, I'd do that, I don't know. But it does seem, if she was dreaming when she ate Jackie, she does have flashes of the memory of it. And is it that she is trying to deny what she did and her mind has blocked it, right? Because that's what we can do with trauma, is we can literally block memories to protect ourselves. It's like a defense mechanism. Or is it that she was sleeping, and then if she thinks hard enough, she can actually recall stuff that she did while she was sleepwalking?
I don't know. I think
she can recall if she thinks hard enough. Oh, look who's having dreams right now. What irony.
What irony.
You're not out of the woods yet, buddy.
He's like,
let's put a little symbol on his paw.
No, don't put it on his paw. Put it on his butt.
Little stick figure in a dress with a hanger dick.
Does he have hiccups right now?
Maybe. He gets hiccups when he gets excited, just like Dad.
He's excited.
It happens to me too.
Poor little baby.
So, Taisa.
Yes. So I think she can probably recall certain things if she thinks hard enough. So I do think that she's blocking out a lot of what happened because of trauma.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't think it's easy for her to remember. I think she can get like flashes of it.
Yeah. And who's in control of her body? Who's possessing her? Is it the guy who once lived up in the attic and was blocked from leaving in the plane? Is it Jackie? Is she able? Because, like, that's who I kind of thought was coming after the bees.
Yeah.
In the end. Like Shauna's spirit, or Jackie's spirit. Right? Because in the episode where Jackie dies, it very much seems like Jackie is in the spirit world.
Yeah.
Now, that might just be her in the throes of death, right? But I feel like we are potentially seeing Jackie in that world, because when she's like walking through the cabin, she's seeing some events, people in there. And I feel like she might be present in some of these scenarios, and she could be the one taking over Taisa's body, leading her away from the house to the symbol. Maybe the symbol is like in From. It wards off the spirits.
Oh, maybe.
Right? The evil
That's
spirits.
That's an interesting idea for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
She's like trying to get her to go to it. But then I don't know, because Lottie's on the opposing side, and she's using the symbol and giving it to Shauna willingly. But Shauna is on her side, so she's giving it to an ally, not an enemy.
Yeah.
So maybe it is protection because she wants to protect the baby for whatever reason, because she thinks a pregnant girl is going to be good for her side because nobody wants to mess with a pregnant girl. I don't know. Or maybe she wants the baby for a sacrifice, a ritualistic sacrifice.
I sort
of
think
new
it
life.
could be that a little bit, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea that the symbol might be like this, have the same function as from, where it is warding off spirits.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know who is Taisa when she's sleepwalking. I really don't.
Because it ain't the man with no eyes.
It's not
right?
him.
Because
That's who she
they're
follows.
They're following, right?
It could be another version of Taisa. It could be Jackie. It could be the man that was there. It could be a freaking something, something that we haven't even met yet or know anything about.
Sure.
Right?
As of right now, I'm going with Jackie's spirit. But why would Jackie's spirit know where the symbol in the woods is and the significance of it? Maybe she learned that whilst in the netherworld.
Maybe. I'm going to go with...
Maybe she met up with Juno, her caseworker.
I'm going to go with alternate identity. Alternate ego? What's that word?
Alter ego.
Alternate ego.
I don't know.
Alter ego. Taisa is in control. I think it's.
So you just think that she has split
dark
personality, kind of thing. Like this
but
is
not.
But this is meant. Oh, so there's
But
like
yeah.
a dark side.
But
Like
yeah.
is this like Stephen King's The Dark Half?
Yeah, like that more.
Okay.
Alternate egos.
Alternate ego once again. That's not it. That's not it. Okay. Can we talk about what a pussy Jeff is?
Yeah.
Like-
we can talk about that.
Like, he's man enough to go aggressively tell a dude in the gym that machine's still his, he's still using it, and then goes and tries to bully a cop
Oh my gosh.
in a gym. But on the flip side of that, Shauna grabs the gun from this hijacker and points it at him, and then Jeff thwarts her fucking, doing this.
Oh my goodness.
And he's like, could have got killed or this, and she has the gun.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? Like, what was that? That was just.
Don't know.
It's supposed to show the contrast, right? It's supposed to
Yes.
show that Jeff is the mentally stable one, and Shauna is the mentally unstable one. She's the one that
Sure.
loves murder.
Right. Yeah, but that is such a bad reaction. Like, she has the gun. The guy's trying to steal your car. You don't have to shoot him, but you have the gun. Like, you should at least take your car back and not let him get into it.
See, what would have made more sense here, and what I would have liked more, because this just doesn't make Jeff look good. It makes him look kind of like a pussy to me. What would have made more sense here is, like, if he pushed the gun away and then the guy drove off. She's like, what the hell? And he's like, do you really need the cops coming around again
Sure.
for another murder?
That's kind of what I thought he was
Right?
going to be doing. Yeah, like, but
That's immediately what I
Yes.
thought he was going to say. And then when he was like, we could have got killed, or what, I was like, what?
like, that's a lame reason.
Yes.
In this situation, at least. Yeah, being like, we don't want cop involvement
Hell no.
would make total sense.
Because she would be investigated to no end for killing somebody,
yeah.
right? She has to go to court for, self-defense, manslaughter, whatever she's going to have to defend herself against. She's already under investigation for the disappearance of somebody. So this would have made so much sense to me if Jeff's like, we don't need the attention,
Yeah,
right?
totally.
Like, I'll give up the van. I don't need you killing another person. I already buried one body. I'm not doing another. Like, something like that. So just him being like, oh my God, you could have got us killed. What the fuck? No way.
no.
That seems lame. and would have made way more sense my way.
But it is supposed to show how, like,
The contrast.
lame he is, yeah.
I get it. It's supposed to show the instability of her versus him.
Yeah.
I get it, but this would have made more sense because you come to the same conclusion.
Yes.
She's unhinged and Jeff's the grounded one who's thinking things through.
Yeah.
Right? She likes the thrill and he likes the stability. Mm-hmm. Right? And sanity. Mm-hmm. So you get the same outcome and the writing would make more sense.
Yeah.
So bad scene in my opinion, and you could literally play the scene out exactly the same way. And then you could even expand upon that with when she comes home and he's like, how the hell did you get it back? And then she kind of gives him the look and he's like, what did I tell you? We don't need the cops' attention, right? Like, what if they would have pulled a gun on you? What if, now you're on cameras because whatever, that place is being cased. Like, you just pulled a gun on someone and stole a car back. Like, this could bring attention to us. We don't need that kind of attention. But then again, they do have to report their car stolen. That's going to bring some cop attention, but I don't know. Regardless, I'm just saying, bad scene.
Yeah. I agree.
And, okay, I said this at the beginning of the show, not in this discussion, but to Kaylee, like, Misty's everything to me. Like,
oh, yeah.
Like, I love... Like, I'm super into the show, and I like all the characters, and, they're fun and whatever. But, like, if it ain't for Misty... Misty's, like... She's nowhere near as ridiculous and bad as this, but, like, she's the Homelander of this show to me. Like,
sure.
She's that villain that I love.
Yeah.
Because they're just, like, they're so insane.
Yeah.
They just make me laugh. I get such a thrill and such amusement out of everything Misty does. Both Mistys, by the way. Like, I definitely prefer... I don't know. I prefer Christina Ricci.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's a bias because I, like, was in love with her when I was a kid. And I still think she's very beautiful. And, like, I still have a thing for her for sure. But, like... So there is some bit of a bias there. But I love young and older Misty. I think they're both... Like, they both give perfect performances to complement one another. Like, the Misty here and the Misty here feel like the same person to me.
Yeah, they do. They feel very much like the same, like, extension of the same character, which is cool.
So we get two wonderful Misty scenes in this, both in the past and in the present. Number one, in the past, we get the ridiculous Steel Magnolia baby shower gift.
Oh my goodness.
Which actually wins everyone over in the end. They kind of start, like, laughing and jeering her at first, but then she is able to play this insane, like, character. I mean, the character in the movie is just grieving, but she's grieving. Her grieving hits kind of an insane level, right? Where you're freaking out on the world and you're having a moment of passion, right? And Misty, of course, is able to embody that because Misty's always in that state of mental unwellness. So that was funny and a credible performance by this girl. But the scene with Elijah Wood's character, what's his name in this? Oh, they say it for like they say it like once, right? Walter. I think you're right. But
the Sick and Forensics is his username. I think it's Walter.
But what happens in this scene? The interrogation. Oh,
you talking about with his, like, when he has so Misty's in the other room and she's feeding him, like, what to say, and he ends up like punching the guy and liking it.
Hit him. And he's like, I'm sorry, I got, like, I think he says IBS, right? Like,
yeah, he's like, I have IBS.
So he has to walk out. The guy would have probably got up and left right then and there, but he's afraid that the cops are going to come after, or the FBI or whatever. But, like, when she says hit him and then he comes back and he gets him and he starts to like it, and then he starts saying shit to him and she's like, that's more like it.
Yeah, she's, like, getting all into it. It was super cute. Super, super cute. They're definitely going to be, like,
romantic.
Something.
100%.
It's for sure a setup.
I love this pairing.
I do too. I love Elijah Wood, and yeah, I'm so into them as a couple. So.
You ship them?
I ship them. Yes.
100%.
100.
This is definitely a great pairing.
Yeah.
That whole scene was just super funny to me.
Yes.
Misty just being crazy ass girl and him like having to step back, and then she like talks him into it, and he goes out there, and you can see he like smiles after he hits him a couple times,
yeah.
and he's like,
so he's got a bit of
she's a bad influence.
Yeah. Bad influence.
He's got a little dark side in him.
A little sadistic streak.
And she's gonna pull it on out.
Yep.
So that was fun. We see the coach, and he is starting to hallucinate to see them as like rabid.
Yeah.
For his flesh, which I actually just think is foreshadowing.
Mm-hmm. I do too.
Right. I think he's just right on the money with his fears.
Yeah.
But I do think you're right. I think he's going through hallucinations from
starvation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hunger hallucinations. Now, the white moose that Natalie shoots at. You said that it wasn't there. She just saw something. Could this be? Because I think like
kind of like the bear.
Right. So like the symbol of like a white moose.
Yeah.
Right. There's some kind of like in folklore or something. There's something about a white moose being like a good omen, something like that. Usually with like white majestic animals, like a unicorn or an albino this or whatever, white this. That's like a sign of good fortune, or like, because Jackie's remains are returned to the plane, and as soon as that happens, we get this kind of like white spirit animal that appears almost as like in, I don't know, like a good omen, but then she shoots at it and kind of rejects it, and so it like charges at her.
Yeah, obviously she wanted to eat it.
Well, sure.
So like it makes sense, but maybe if Natalie believed more, she would have been able to shoot it and actually get meat from it.
If it was there. Right, if it's
there.
not a spirit animal of some sort. So, I don't know. That's all I got on that. What do you guys think? As always, with any of this stuff, what do you guys think? And Shauna shows outright. She says it as I expected. When he was like, "You're shaking," I was like, she's going to address that. And she's going to say, it's not because I'm scared, it's because I want to kill you.
Yeah.
And that is not verbatim, but that's exactly what she
Yeah.
says. And I was like, yep, that's exactly what I expected you to say.
Yep.
Yeah, and then she's just like...
Yeah.
Reminds me of the
Super
scene
intense.
in National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon. I bring it up all the time.
Yeah, you do.
When she says that he's a loose cannon, that he's freaking, trigger happy.
Yeah.
And he's like...
Just like that scene.
I'm telling you, it might be the movie that I equate.
Reference the most? Yes.
In our reviews.
I do think it is.
It's
probably.
because it parodies like everything.
Yeah.
And it does it so well. I can't help myself. If you haven't seen it, man, you gotta watch it. Like if you've seen the Lethal Weapons, you've gotta watch it. That's it. Like anything else too, but like the Lethal Weapons are a must before you watch it. Anyway, and okay, so we were trying to do something that we are not, skilled in, and that is lip reading.
Yeah.
So Taisa is in the mirror. Her mirror self starts whispering, or not whispering, but mouthing some words. And we got, you don't?
Don't you?
Or don't you? Yeah, I said backwards.
Don't you hurt her is what
That's
I
what
thought.
you had the first time, but it looked like one word.
It's like, don't you hunger? I don't know. Don't you something.
Yeah. We should have watched it one more time to try to see if we could get that last word.
Couldn't figure it out. So if you guys know what she's saying,
don't you
tell us.
Don't you go. Don't you stop. Don't you... I don't know.
Don't you dare.
Don't you dare.
I don't know.
It might not even be don't you.
It might not.
Right? It might be anything. But we rewound it. We watched it one more time. And I was really trying to see her mouth. But don't you definitely... We both got that.
Yeah.
Like it was those were the two words, and then it felt like there was a third word, but it could have been the third and fourth broken up. I don't know, but yeah. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think? And then she covers her face.
Yes, which you said was kind of like Van's
scars.
Which I liked, but I don't know what she's doing.
Yeah.
I thought that whole scene was really creepy, and I loved it.
And she did like the cross the face and then covered an eye.
Yeah.
And that's like how
like
that's how Van's dressings were, weren't they?
Yeah.
When she gets her face cut up, they dress her face like that? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it's Van. If it has anything to do with Van.
No.
Could the symbol? Because that's what when she very first did it, I thought she was trying to make the symbol with her hands on her face. And then I was like, does that look like the symbol? And I'm like, I guess it doesn't. So that was like my first initial reaction to seeing it. Like right as she started to put them up, I was like, oh, she's going to make the symbol with her, like her, whatever. And I was like, oh no, she didn't do that. So she kind of covered the face in a way where, I don't know, because it was like a try, Yeah. So I don't think that's what it is, but because if it is that symbol, then it might give you a clue with like the eyeball and the seeing, because the circle on top could be the eye, right? But she covered it. I don't know. I'd have to look at it again, but I don't know what that was.
I don't either.
But
I feel like I don't know a lot of things in this.
Yeah, sure.
I really liked the episode, but
it's just questions. It's okay. When freaking Lottie tells that girl, like, if you want to hurt Natalie back, go for it. Oh my gosh,
yeah.
And she like gives her like some bent fork.
Yes, because that's what Natalie hurt.
No, right,
was the
right. That's right.
So she was kind of like an eye for an eye type of thing.
Right. That's right. It's the fork that she used. Yes. Cool. Okay. Yep. That makes sense. And then, but she gives her a hug. I forgive you. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then, we get the blood in the hive. Like, why there's blood in there? I mean, bees don't bleed like that, right? Like, so this isn't...
No, it's definitely like...
This is an omen.
Yes.
Or did blood actually get in there? You can never trust anything you see on screen in this show because it's like, is it in their head? Is it real?
Yeah.
Right? Like, this is a message. He wants blood.
Right, is what the lady says in French.
In French.
He wants blood.
So, I'm assuming the man without eyes.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's probably the big bad. He's the demon spirit.
So yeah, maybe she needs to make some type of sacrifice. Like you were saying, like before, there's... Jackie's kind of a sacrifice in a way.
She's got a lot of sacrificial lambs in her cult.
She does.
Now, who would it be that... I have to assume that the he wants blood, it's going to have to be one of the original Yellowjackets.
That's what I was going to say too, so maybe Natalie, right? Like it might be...
Yeah, I mean, she might try.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, outside of like Shauna and Misty, I suppose. Like, who do you think has plot armor at this point and is like, there's no way they're dying, and if they did, you would be like absolutely shocked.
I guess Shauna and Misty really are the main ones, because I could although I don't know, I feel like Taisa has.
I could see
more
Taisa
stuff,
dying,
but I could see her dying.
I could see
Natalie dying.
Natalie
for sure.
dying.
I would hate it.
Maybe. I just feel like, yeah, because you do the past stuff and then you do the future stuff, and there's like kind of focus on a character, and then they go past, present with that character.
Yeah.
And if your character dies in the future, that doesn't mean your character doesn't get to continue to develop in the past.
Sure.
Yeah.
It just would be weird to stop it there, you know, as an adult. And then, but obviously, yeah, like if we keep flashing back, they're going to be in the past.
I can't see any of the core four dying, right? I can't see Misty, Shauna, Natalie,
or
Taisa dying.
Yeah. I do feel like they're going to be alive for a bit longer.
How long before we see friggin' adult Van?
I don't know. Soon, I hope. She's in the freaking credits.
Yeah, she's in the opening credits.
So I hope we see her soon.
Well, we discussed a lot. We had some fun. Yeah, I think we talked about every freaking possible theory we could come up with out of this episode. I think we came up with a lot of fun ones. And probably 99% of them are wrong, and I'm okay with that. We get them right here and there.
Here and there.
Broken clock, right?
Yeah, we're right twice a day.
Yeah, we're right once a day. We're not even good as a broken clock. We're good as a broken clock and that does like military time.
Oh my god.
Once a day.
Once a day.
All right, so let us know your comments, your thoughts in the comments below. Yes. And we'll see you down there. And until next week, just kidding, we'll have a new video up tomorrow. Stephen King Saturday.
We'll see you there.
The Dark Half.
Bye.